Hey, this is Dr. William Curtis with Future Focus Family Medicine, NRG Tribe, and the WFO Life podcast. I wanted to talk to you briefly in honor of Heart Disease Awareness Month about risks of developing chronic heart problems. Primarily, I'm going to talk about heart disease, which is the number one killer of folks in the United States and most industrialized countries. I've mentioned in other videos that type 2 diabetes is one of the highest risk issues. If you have any type of belly fat in the midsection, if you have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, if you're inactive or have a very, very high stress lifestyle, slow sleep or poor sleep rather, all of these are risk factors for coronary artery disease, which means a blockage of the arteries that go to the pumping, areas of the heart. So this is super, super important, and I want you to know if you're walking around, you have belly fat, like, in the midsection, if you know that you have a history of high blood pressure and it's either being untreated or it's poorly treated, then you're going to be at risk. And there's a lot of things that can be done, naturally speaking, to improve those risk factors. At our clinic, and certainly in my practice, we like to emphasize lifestyle first. So it's not always just a pill for everything. What we want to do is we want to get you doing the things that naturally have evidence to decrease your risk of heart disease or even stroke for that matter. Those can include exercise. It's amazing what research is out there on exercise. If you will get yourself moving, you don't have to take up marathon running, but if you could get yourself moving 45 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week, that's huge. That's a huge card that you can play in the game of, health. Please do it. It just takes going out and doing it on a regular basis. You don't have to have a gym membership, but you do have to execute on a day-to-day basis. The second thing that's very important is nutrition. Now, there's a lot of controversy in nutrition. Many traditional physicians and a great portion of the medical community will often emphasize a low-fat diet. I think there's good evidence that that's not the only way people need to eat. In fact, that doesn't work for everyone. In my clinical practice, I've seen lots of benefit on lower carb diets, high-fat diets. I've seen benefits on being a paleo, primal, or even ketogenic type diets. So those are different options, and obviously touch base with your physician or with our team for very specifics for you. But that should help rather than being on what I call SAD, Standard American Diet, which means processed sugar, fast food, junk out of packages, all these things that humans were never meant to eat. So fitness, exercise, and nutrition. The third is sleep. Now, I just did a huge video. You can look back on this YouTube page for the topic of sleep. I also did a podcast on the WFO Life podcast on the very same topic. I think those would be great resources for you to look at. 7 to 9 hours of sleep is your goal. If you're not getting that, you have a problem. And we will recommend certain things in those videos and on how to improve that naturally. Last thing would be stress. Now, sleep sort of falls into that category because lack of sleep is a stressor. But stress, I've written extensively on the nrgtribe.com website on sleep. If you go to that website, nrgtribe, like the Indian tribe.com, and you check that out, you'll see topics on stress reduction, tons of resources there. But stress is probably, in my opinion, secondary to nutrition, is probably the number one cause of heart disease. It raises our cortisol levels, it causes our blood pressure to go up, it causes the liver to dump sugar, which raises more insulin. All of these issues corrode our arteries and prematurely age us and lead to heart disease, which means heart attacks and strokes and things like that. I hope that serves as a reminder for who is at risk. People who are inactive, people who have poor diet, people who don't sleep, and people who are stressed out all the time. Please start working towards fixing those things. There's solutions for all of them, and I just provided to you basic resources and things you can go read and study or topics of conversation when you come see us as a patient or when you talk to your own physician. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you will kind of start to raise your bar a little bit health-wise and be aware this is Heart Disease Awareness Month, and it's an important health condition. And I think that if you'll just follow those guidelines I mentioned, you'll notice that your chances of those problems go down. That's all I got. Thanks. Signing off.